So welcome out everyone to our team. Our team is doTERRA Edge. Tonight we'll be talking about making doTERRA work for you. And so some of the process that we'll be going over this evening is the simple flow and process that it takes to make your business work. And so just by way of introduction, I'm Rod Richardson. I'm a diamond in doTERRA, and Jennifer and I, of course, are the main leaders of this line. So we'll get rolling here. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is to answer this question, and that is, what do you want to change in your life? So if you're analyzing your life right now, and you're thinking about everything that you're experiencing, it's asking this question. And so if you have notes, if you have a notebook in front of you or a journal or anything that you're recording some thoughts on, this is one of your primary questions that you want to start with, is to write this down. What do you want to change in your life? Now, also, if you have your own fast track planner, for example, you'll notice on the front of the Fast Track Planner there is a place for you to document some of your answers to these questions. And if you have not received a Fast Track Planner tracking sheet, then you'll want to make sure that you go to fasttrackplanner.com and acquire one of those, or talk to your upline sponsor to make sure that they can work with you on that process. These are things that we've worked for a long time on, team-wide, checking to make sure that they work and that we have a very efficient flowing system. And so if you don't have one of those, make sure that you get one. If you're a leader on this call now and you haven't shared those with your team, be sure that you're going to fasttrackplanner.com and getting those so that you can keep your team moving forward. So this is the first question. What do you want to change in your life? I know for me, when I first approached doTERRA, my wife and I are entrepreneurs. We've created a number of companies, and this is one of our first major journeys in network marketing. And one of the things that we wanted to change in our life is the income cycles of entrepreneurship. It was very disruptive, being on the top and then riding on the bottom for a long period of time, going months and months and months without salaries, and different things like that. We just wanted to put our energies and efforts towards something that works. So that was something that we wanted to change in our life, and we wanted to change it badly. And so that brings up the next question: how is your life different with these changes in place? Now, when I pondered this question for myself, I started out with the idea of balancing out, creating a residual income that stopped those entrepreneurial secular income cycles. And now we're in a position where we've achieved that. Our doTERRA business produces enough monthly now that it covers all of our living expenses and many of our bills. I was able to quit my job last September. And so that gives you an idea that how is our life different with these changes in place. I can tell you now that for the first time in a long time, we live without those stresses that are related to income. We still have to manage our money. I tell people I don't try to mislead anybody and kind of insinuate that I have a Porsche budget or anything like that. But our doTERRA income does meet all of our needs, and it allows us to grow, and it grows every single month. And so this is very exciting. And some of the things that are different in my life now, one of the major things is I'm home all the time. I'm home when my kids go to school in the morning. I'm home when they come home. I have the opportunity to take them during the day and the afternoon when they get home to school. These are things that for the years before building businesses, where I'd be gone for days at a time. I'd be gone before they got up in the morning. I'd be gone, or I wouldn't get home until after they were in bed. And so there's big chunks of my children's life that was missed because of that. But with doTERRA, in a sense, it's allowed our family to come back, and for us to have a family. And so it's thinking about, what do you want to change in your life, and how is your life different with these changes in place? These are important things, because it talks it helps you illustrate in your own mind what your pain is. For example, what happens if these changes don't take place? If you have a picture in your mind of what you want to create, what happens if you don't create it? Does life go on the same? Are the changes not painful enough that you want to put any effort into it? What is it that you're chasing? What is it that you want to accomplish? And so these are some fundamental questions that help align your mind to think about how you would like your life to be different, and then positioning you so you can actually make that change occur, make it a reality. This is a very important question. This is something that I ask virtually everyone that starts, that I enroll, and when they communicate to me that they want to build the business. I ask them right up front, what do you want doTERRA to do for you? And so if you're taking notes, you have your journal or your notebook in front of you, or your paper, kind of make a note. What do you want doTERRA to do for you? If you're going to put energy and effort into something, what do you want out of it? And then that helps you get really clear about it. Then the next question is, what are you willing to do to achieve this goal? So for example, if you want, some of the things, what I wanted is I wanted a stable residual base income that I could continue to put energy on, that would continue to grow. We've achieved that, and of course we have to ask ourselves, what was I willing to do to make that happen? In the beginning days, you got to remember that I was still employed. I was an executive with my own company, which was a nationwide training company, and so in that course, I was working on that all day long. I would come home in the evening and work on my doTERRA business from about 6 p.m. till about midnight every night. That's what I was willing to do to make it happen. I talked to people that I know. I shared samples with them, and some of them joined the business. It was a pretty simple process, but I was willing to do that to make my goal happen. Now, when you think about this, what are you willing to do? These are some levels of commitment. Are you willing to commit some time to achieving your goal? Or maybe you're willing to commit part-time to your goal. Now, I would say that when I started, I was committing part-time to it. Some time would indicate that you're doing some random activities, that when the opportunity arises, you go ahead and accomplish that, and maybe you kind of casually do it here and there. Part-time would mean that you actually have some hours dedicated to it. And so I would probably have been classified as part-time when I started. I still had a full-time job during the day, and then I committed some regular time every single day to working on my doTERRA business. And so that would be classified as part-time. And then, of course, ultimately, you can get to the point where you can put in full-time. Now, I would not recommend that anyone quit their job if they do not have an income source that's supporting your needs while trying to build your doTERRA business. And so just as a rule of thumb, your doTERRA business should easily cover your monthly costs and expenses and allow you some growing room. In other words, you have a little extra dollars to work with each month before you consider cutting off an income source. And so I find that if you quit a job too early to focus all your energies on doTERRA, if you do that too soon, unless you have lots and lots of experience, it has a tendency of putting too much pressure on you and the business. And then that emotional pressure can make you convey or put you in a position where you feel desperate. And of course, that isn't very attractive to people. And so the idea is to maintain yourself in a position of emotional power, and then build it, allow it to grow. And then as it grows, you will feel more and more empowered as your income starts to increase each month. A little bit, that's very empowering, and because you don't have that fear of how you're going to eat the next month. Now, these are two keys to your success. The first one is belief. Now, belief has three specific areas. One is you want to develop belief in the product. Is this a product that works for you? doTERRA is a fabulous product line. The product line has been an extreme blessing for my family. It's not that we've had one individual magical miracle moment. It's that we've had hundreds of daily little uses, daily experiences, anything from being able to help coughs, to getting over the flus and colds quicker, to getting past athlete's foot, to dealing with sunburns, to dealing with insect bites, and to helping us sleep better. All of these things have combined to taking our headaches away. All of these things have combined to strengthen our belief in the product, that if I'm offering a product that's going to provide value to somebody else, and most importantly, that it provides value to me. The second thing that you want to maintain belief in is the business model itself. Now, I want you to understand that the business model works. It's not a matter of if it works or if it will work for you. If you do the right activities, the business model does work. And I'll outline that a little more. We'll be talking about that. But you have to understand that fundamentally. I can't even tell you how many times I hear people say, I'm going to do the business and we'll see how it goes. Or I'll see if it'll work for me. Or different language like that. That's all self-defeating language. What that ultimately means is you don't believe that the model works for everyone. Now, I want you to understand that sales from doTERRA, commissions from doTERRA are earned on the sales of products. And because of that, the business model works. You sell a product, the company sends you a check. It's pretty easy. The other thing is belief in yourself and your dream. And I want you to understand that your dream is worthwhile. The things that you want to achieve are worthwhile. You wouldn't have those dreams if they were not worthwhile. And if they're not worthwhile to anyone else, they're worthwhile to you. And a big part of achieving a dream is believing in yourself, believing that you're worthy to achieve it, believing that it's your right to be able to experience your dreams, and believing that you're capable of it. And I think after we get through tonight, you will see that the process for building a doTERRA business is actually very, very simple. And most of the problems people have in maintaining belief is their idea that it doesn't work is because they make it more complicated than it is. They're assuming that it's more complicated, and it's not complicated at all. It's very, very simple. Now, the next key to your success is commitment. Basically, in regards to commitment, you need to put the energy into anything you want. If you want to see results in something, if you want to build a house, for example, you have to put the energy into it. That's just a fundamental law. Network marketing is a very beautiful business model. However, it's not magical. It doesn't mysteriously appear. Now, I know my kids, for example, believe that clothing mysteriously appears in their chest of drawers. That somehow mysteriously their underwear is always clean. Well, the reality is there's a lot of energy and effort that goes into making that happen. And network marketing is the same. If you're waiting for someone else in network marketing to do your laundry for you, you'll be waiting a long, long time. Now, this kind of gives you a time frame. It takes you about a year to get your bearings. And now I don't mean that it's a year of preparation before you can do anything. It's far from the truth. What I mean is that if you're engaged in the business till a year from now, you will find that you know all the answers. You know how the compensation plan works. You know how the product works. You know how to call customer service. You know how to enroll people. People start to look at you as someone who knows things. Well, it takes about a year. Now, I want you to understand that this is a fundamental truth for anything that you do. If you go to work for a new company, for example, it's about a year before you really get your bearings on that company. I had a great general manager of a company that I became a national marketing manager for. He gave me a great insight. He said it's going to take you a while to figure out where the bathroom is. And so his point, what he was trying to communicate, is that when you get into something, it takes you a while to get your bearings. It's okay. It's part of the process. Now, it doesn't mean that it takes you a year to have success. It's not that at all. It just, it's that course of a year that really solidifies that you know what you're doing in doTERRA. Now, if you're here in 5 years and you earnestly put in the effort, basically a 5-year plan to create a 6-figure income or a growing income, maybe it starts as a small residual, and then after 5 years, you're really going to know your stuff. You're going to be a serious leader in 5 years. I look back, keep in mind that 2 years ago, I was not even in doTERRA. And here, a year and a half later, here I'm probably one of the top 30 leaders in the company. And so imagine 5 years from now. And I want you to realize that all of us were in the stage that you are right now, no matter where that is, whether you just started or whether you've achieved some major ranks. We've all been there. We've been at that same place. And just imagine 5 years out. Now, a 5-year plan to 6 figures is totally realistic. There isn't anything you're going to do in life, short of starting your own business somewhere and magically having it be the cash cow, that's going to get you to that level in that time frame. And so oftentimes I ask people, how long is too long? How long is it too long to create a 6-figure residual income? You realize how powerful that is. It's ridiculously powerful. It is more powerful than earning 6 figures. I'll just tell you that right up front. All right, now this is something I want you to understand as well, and this is the idea of discouragement. Everyone gets discouraged. There's really no way around it. It will happen to you. It happens to me, and it happens to everyone. Because when you first start, you have a lot of excitement. Everything's possible, and then you go out and you talk to the 2 people that you know, and they say no, and all of a sudden you're devastated. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. That's sad. Does the model really work? Maybe it doesn't work for everyone. And we go through this. Maybe the product doesn't work as well as I thought. You know, I tried it on that hip ache the other day, and it didn't take the pain. Or maybe it doesn't work. And so all of us face these questions, and this is a discouragement. And this is where, as you become a leader, leading and mentoring others, is realizing that you're walking each of your team members through this valley. It's being there with them and help them understand that, yes, there really is another side. There is a time where you see momentum. There is a time where you see it working. There is a time where you will notice that the product actually does work, and it works for lots and lots of people. And as you get through that, then, of course, it's an upward course of belief, momentum, and commitment that creates basically your dreams. So getting past discouragement, this is one of the things that's fundamental. When you do the right activities, results happen. And when you see results, then your belief increases. It's pretty incredible. And so here's 3 things that you need to have take place, especially with a new person. You want to make sure that you're setting your enrollments up to have a positive experience with the product. And so what does that mean? You help educate them a little bit. You help them discover what products work for specific ailments that they might be trying to solve. You help them solve problems with your product. You empower them with the Modern Essentials book. You help them understand how to look things up and how to get results from the product. They'll have a product experience. It'll be great. You need to understand, or you need to help your enrollees enroll a new IPC. Once they enroll one person, then you know you can do it again. Once you do something once, you know you can do it again. It's not a problem. So helping your new enrollment enroll a new IPC. And then also that first commission check. I remember my first commission check was about $40. And it was fantastic. My wife and I were so happy. Jen and I took pictures of ourselves holding that check. It's a monumental moment. It was our first income from doTERRA. Now what's really cool is, holding your bigger checks. That's always exciting as well. All right, the secrets to making it work. Now the answer is extraordinarily simple, and I know you've all come from miles around to be able to hear the simple explanation. Now, in my experience as a training company, we had the opportunity of working with virtually every major network marketing company that you can think of. And one of our major clients was Avon. Avon is the largest direct selling company in the world. Avon puts several $1 million and several years into a key study to find out what makes network marketing work. What is the difference between those that succeed and those that don't? What is the differentiating factor between those with large incomes and those that make hardly anything? And they came back to us and they said, we want you guys to understand that the results of our study are indisputable. In other words, they had tested it backwards, forwards. They knew the answer, and there's basically no debating it. Here it is. They discovered that those that talk to the most people have the largest teams and make the most money. I bet you had no idea that it was that simple. And there was one of my good friends, Rich Phillips, told me that he used to sell fireplaces, and he went into a home. It was a very nice home with a very high-end fireplace that he was selling to this couple. And as he talked to the couple, he got the impression he was starting to wonder they weren't too sharp. And he thought to himself, what do these people do? Do they have enough money? Do they make money? So he called his home base, his home office, and he asked, hey, what's up with this couple? Do they really have money? And he said, the gentleman answered, yeah, matter of fact, they do. Matter of fact, they're the top distributors in XYZ network marketing company. And he's like, really? So he went in and he asked them, and he said, how did you guys get to be the top producers in your company? How did you make so much money? And they just simply said, oh, it was really simple. We just talked to everybody we knew about it. I thought, wow, that's really profound. Really profound. All right, what brings in the money? When you sell a product, the company will send you a check. I had an individual ask me one day from another network marketing company, and he was basically saying, where does the money come from? And I told him, well, I gave him some answer, and he goes, in our company, the money comes from the sale of products. And I said, well, that's fascinating. That's where the checks come from too. If product sells, then you earn commission. It's pretty easy. There's nothing mysterious about it. Now, you'll understand also that that's exactly the same for a traditional business. There's nothing mysterious about it, nothing weird, nothing illegal. Now, illegal companies are when money is earned not from the sale of a product. Now, you'll notice in doTERRA that you actually don't earn income off of the enrollment or marketing materials. Now, there's a reason for that. That's a differentiating factor of legalities. In other words, income must be generated from the sale of products. And so in doTERRA, that's the case. You sell a product, the company sends you a check. Now, what's really cool about network marketing is they give you the opportunity to train distributors. And so when you teach others how to sell the product, the company will send you a bigger check. This is cool stuff. I just love it. So part of that key is to be proud of what you do. There isn't anything about it. doTERRA is completely legitimate, completely legal. There's nothing unethical about it. It is a product of value. We sell and distribute that product, and the company rewards us for doing so. Very legitimate business model. I am very proud to be a distributor for doTERRA, and I'm very, very happy to tell others that that's what I do. The product you sell has a very real and beneficial value to people. This is one of the few companies that I've been around where the product has such a strong value proposition, and that's what makes me so excited to sell it with others, to share it with others, and share it with friends, and share it with close family members even, because I know the product offers such extreme value and benefit. And that's basically why people hang around so long. Now, you are helping people. When you sell a doTERRA product, people are getting benefit from it. You are helping them. And if you help enough people, you're going to have some amazing experiences with people sharing just the level of help that you've provided them. So just look people in the eye and tell them what you do. Own it. Own your business. Here's the 3 main skills that you need to master to make it work. The first is find. The second is teach. And the third is to enroll. Find, teach, and enroll. So if you're like, what do I need to learn how to do? Well, you need to learn how to find people. And you're finding, who are you finding? You're finding people that have problems. Problems with health. Problems with money. These are problems that you can solve. You're finding people that have a desire to make something different. Maybe you're trying to find people that want to help other people. Finding people that want to make a change in the world and in the lives of other people. You're finding people. How do I find people that would be interested in a doTERRA product? And so that's your first skill. Now, once you find those people, you need to understand what to tell them. And so this is teach. And you're able to teach when you know a little bit about the product. Now, you don't have to know everything about the product. You don't have to be a master or an expert or anything like that. You just have to have your own experience with the product. You have to have a general idea of what Melaleuca oil does. General idea of where frankincense comes from. Can you explain what CPTG means? Now, if you can do these things, you're putting together this information, and each little piece that you learn makes it easier and easier to teach other people. And so this is what you're doing. You're mastering the presentation. Now, our team has a presentation pad. You can find it on fasttrackplanner.com. And that's our standard team presentation. And you can get that presentation pad, and you master the bullet points. And pretty much, I've even done this as an experiment. You can read the bullet points to other people. You don't have to be some sort of masterful teacher or anything like that. Matter of fact, I find that the less polished you are, sometimes the more effective you are. It's pretty amazing. One day I just sat in front of a class and literally just read the bullet points off the page, and then I looked up and I said, if you want to be able to make money doing what I'm doing, all you need to do is read this pad to other people. And a guy across from me said, I can do that, and he enrolled. It's fantastic. So it's not very difficult. These are just 3 simple skills that you need to master. Now, enrollment, that just means that you need to understand the enrollment process. What is a preferred customer? What is an IPC? How do I enter them on the computer? What is an enroller? What is a sponsor? Now, these are the things that you want to learn. And once you know what they are, then you can enroll people with confidence. If somebody wants to set up a wholesale account, then you will know how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, get with the person that sponsored you and have them walk you through it. It takes about 10 minutes to learn how to do this. And as far as teaching a presentation, you deliver 10 presentations and you're going to be really good at it. And it's very difficult to make a mistake. Then the next thing is you take those 3 processes and then you duplicate it. You just do it again and again and again. It's the boring and the mundane that makes it work well. And basically it makes it so anyone can do it. The things that you do, you want them to be duplicatable. You don't want to do things that are unduplicatable. When I go to a class, I teach with the TerraPad. I don't use a projector. I don't use my computer. I don't use a lot of things. And the reason why is because I want people to see how little material you need to be successful. And it's very effective. I don't want anyone looking at me to be overwhelmed by what I do. I want them to look at me and say, wow, if that guy can do it, I can do it. That's when you know you've achieved duplication. And duplication simply means teaching others to do the same. So these are 4 activities that create cash flow. So now you have your business up and you're wondering, what do I do every day? One of the things you can do that's very effective is to tell people what you do. Tell them that you have oils available. And when you do, then you invite them to learn more. When you're doing that, you're most likely creating events that will cause checks to come your way. Now, the second thing is to give people samples and help them. So if you have a neighbor that has a child that's having frightmares, for example, then take your bottle of lavender and take your bottle of serenity and walk over to their house and simply say, hey, I heard that your child has frightmares. I have some natural things. Would you like to try them? Now, if you're giving people samples, you're most likely setting things up to create an event for cash to flow. Now, the third thing is when you're actually delivering the presentation, when you're going to classes, and whether you or someone else is teaching, if you're there and you're inviting somebody else to come with you, you're likely creating an event that would create a check to come to you. It's pretty simple. Now the problem people have is they get away from these activities and they feel like they're busy, they feel like they're doing the work, they feel like they're doing something, but nothing's happening. Well, the reason why is because they're not focused on the activities that create that cash flow. Now, the fourth one is talking to your team members. Now, if you don't have a team yet, of course, talking to team members won't be very effective. However, if you start to build a team and there are people on your team that start to express an interest to build, then what you want to do is get with them with the fast track planner and start working them through and mentoring them, talking to them, helping them through the valley of discouragement, helping them understand how to find people, how to teach the presentation, how to effectively enroll, and how to teach their teams. If you're doing that, you're likely setting yourself up to create more cash flow events. So where does it start? It starts with making a list. Now, when you write a list, just take a sheet of paper, take a notebook, take an Excel spreadsheet, take whatever you want to write on where you can keep track. You can always you can use some of the lead sheets that I've created. If you want to email me at rod@edgesuccess.com, I'll just say lead sheets, please, in your subject line, and I'll return your email and I'll attach the lead sheets that I use. And again, it's just an organized sheet of paper that helps you manage people that you know. And so when you think about that, you can use anything. You can use notebook paper. You can use a blank sheet. You can use a napkin. It doesn't matter. Just write the names down. And who do you include or exclude? You exclude no one. You include everyone. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you why here in a minute. You put everyone you know down. Then you might there might be some of those people where you could kind of picture yourself being in business. I'm good friends with that person. We have a great relationship. I want to be in business with them. Now, if there's somebody you want to be in business with, put a star next to their name, and you may want to give them a little additional attention in your process here. If you can, if you're aware of an ailment that they have, write it down, and that makes your approach easier. If you know that somebody suffers from headaches, for example, it's really easy to go to them and to say, I see that you're having headaches. Are you open to trying something natural that may help them? And wham, there you have a sample in somebody's mind, somebody's hand. And you're just coming back a day later, how did it work? They say, I love it. You say, would you like to learn more? And next thing you know, you're on your way to an enrollment and a check in the mail. That's awesome. Now, this is a concept that most people do not understand, and this is the idea that your warm market is people that know your name and people who you know have some sort of at least a warm relationship with. The idea that it can be infinite. I hear over and over again, I don't have anyone to talk to. I've run out of my warm market. Well, with what I'm about to show you, you're going to realize that you should never run out of warm market. Everyone that's 35 years of age or older knows 2,000 people. Now, you might disagree with me. However, this is a scientific study. A sales study was done, and basically it concluded that everyone of 35 years of age or more knows 2,000 people. It's just the way it is. There isn't any real disputing it. Now, of those 2,000, there's probably 200 of them that you know by name. Now, if you're not sure that you're that person because you have an isolated lifestyle and you're stuck in your house and you have a routine and there's 2 people in your life, and so you really can't possibly imagine that you know 200 people, then I always ask people, how many people are they connected to on Facebook? And most people have well over 100 people on their Facebook account that they're attached to. So you know over 200 people by name. Now, if you know those 200, here's the catcher. 4 to 6 of them would be interested in what you're doing. Interesting numbers. Now, the numbers that I'm teaching you tonight, will help you understand that success in this business can be inevitable as long as you follow the process, as long as you do the activities that make it work. The numbers are in your favor, and as long as you understand the numbers, then you will know how to succeed. Now, these are the first set of numbers. Basically, if you're working with 200 names on your list, 4 to 6 of those people will inevitably be interested in what you're doing. Here's something that's really cool. Once you identify those four people that are 35 years of age know 8,000 people. Of those 8,000, they know 800 plus by name. 16 to 24 of those people will be interested in what you do. This is so powerful. I hope you're getting how powerful this is. I'll just give you a little experience. I started with a warm market list. I think I casually wrote down about 20 people. Now, in your fast track planner, there's a space to write down 20 people. and so when you're looking at that, so I wrote down about 20 people, and I started talking to those people, and sure enough, at least 4 of them were very interested in what I was doing. They've become builders. Now, the irony is that I know a lot more than 20 people, and I've since added more people to my list. Just telling you where I started. I have 2 people on my front line that also have pretty significant personal contact lists. So I have 5 people on my front line, and 2 of them have shared with me that they have an extensive personal warm market. Actually, 3. And the irony is all of them have big teams now. And the funny thing is, as we were talking, we discovered that none of us have even hardly scratched the potential of our own personal lists. I think this is so cool. Well, the reason why is because these numbers were working for us. We still have, one of my frontline leaders has a personal names list of 500 people. She's barely talked to 100 of them. There's still hundreds to go, and her team is already overwhelming her with leads. Amazing stuff. If you understand this, and I'll touch on this a little more, the right questions to ask. So keep in mind, so we found 16 to 24. So 16 of those 35-year-old people now know 32,000 people. They know 3,200 of them by name. Are you getting tired yet? I'll tell you right now, you are not going to get on the phone and personally contact 32,000 people. 64 to 96 of them will be interested in what you do. So are you seeing how the numbers grow here? Basically, with each group of builders, 4 are showing up out of their personal warm market and creating an infinite warm market. This is how network marketing works. This is why it's called network marketing. Most people believe that it's direct selling, meaning I go out, I find the customers, I sell the product. That is not the case. We go out, we talk to our sphere of influence, we share with them what we do, we share samples and products with them and education. Some of them are interested in what we do, and we repeat the process. I had somebody ask me one time, up here in Logan, Utah, there's 4 platinums in our city. Don't you think, it's a small town, don't you think everybody is in doTERRA under one of those teams? And I just looked at him and I just simply said, do you suppose there's 4 people in Logan, Utah that have not heard of doTERRA? And of course the answer to that is, of course, there's 4 people in her personal network that have never heard of doTERRA. And if we can get with those people and they're interested in what she is doing, her infinite warm market takes effect. Powerful stuff, understanding the numbers. Here's why people get stuck. They get stuck because most people ask this question. We're saying to ourselves, well, who do I know? Who do I know that would be interested? Who do I know that would want deep blue oil? Who do I know? Who do I know that would want to do the business? Well, I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone that would want to do it. It's because that is the wrong question. The question that creates an infinite warm market is this question. Who do you know that? So in other words, I know Seth. So I'd say, Seth, are you open to natural forms of healthcare? And Seth says, yes. And I go, fantastic. So I share it with Seth, and then I come back to Seth, and I said, Seth, who do you know that suffers from headaches? Who do you know that suffers from asthma? Who do you know that needs more income in their life? Who do you know, Seth? Who do you know that? Now, if you'll master this question, and if you're comprehending what I'm saying right now, then you will never run out of leads, ever. You will have more people than you know who to talk to. You just won't have enough time to talk to all the people that you can generate by asking the right question. Who do you know that? Go to your family. Go to your friends. Who cares if they're not interested in doTERRA? It does not matter. You just ask your family, you ask your friends, you ask your acquaintances, hey, who do you know that likes natural health? Who do you know that is in yoga? Who do you know that is a foodie? Who do you know that watched Forks Over Knives? Who do you know that talks about Super Size Me, the documentary? Catching the picture? Who do you know that? And when you start asking that question to your sphere of influence, your warm market becomes infinite. There's no end to it, more than you could possibly do. Now, as you're approaching each of these contacts, you need to remember that there are 3 doors of openness. Now, we always work with openness. A lot of times, people are afraid of offending people. Now, you don't have to worry about offending people if you learn these 3 doors and you learn to understand if the door is open or if the door is closed. So each contact has 3 doors of openness. Now, this is why you write down everyone that you know, because you're not making a predetermined judgment. All you're doing is looking for those on your list whose first door is open. And that first door is, are they open to learn about natural forms of healthcare? So now I have those 100 people that include my friends and family and everyone else that I don't want to talk to. It includes everyone. And I'm looking at that list, and all I have to do is go through the list and then just ask the question, Janie, are you open to natural forms of healthcare? No. John, are you open to natural forms of healthcare? No. Sally, are you open to natural forms of healthcare? Why, yes, I am. Okay, so Sally's door is open. Now I walk through the door. Now, this is how you maintain all your friends. You don't have to worry about offending anyone. The only time you offend people is when you break down a door that is not open. Now, Sally said, yes, I am. So now comes the next question. We teach Sally about oils. We invite her to a presentation. We share some samples with Sally, and then we simply come back and we ask Sally, now that you've had your experience with the oils, are you open to use them? And Sally says, no, they didn't do anything for me. Well, see, I've already asked 6 other people if they're open to learn, and I found out that John is open to learn, and so I shared the presentation with John. I shared some samples with John, and then I came back and I said, hey, John, are you open to learn? Are you open to use now that you've learned about oils? And he says, why, yes, I'm open to use these oils because they've been fantastic to me. They've been fantastic. I put it on and my cough went away in about 30 seconds. I put it on my daughter. I put peppermint on her foot and the fever went down in 5 minutes. Unbelievable, cool stuff. And then I said, John, are you open to use them? Would you like to set up a wholesale account? And he says, you know, let me think about it. Not sure, times are a little tough. Can't quite afford them right now. I think I'll have to take a rain check. And I say, okay, it's fantastic. But in the meantime, I've already asked 4 other people, and I found out that Tommy was interested in learn, and so I shared the presentation with Tommy, and I got down and I found out I got to the end. Tommy had a great experience with the oils as well. And so I asked Tommy, are you open to learn? Are you open to use these oils now that you've had your great experience with the oils? Are you open to use them? And he says, you know what? I am. I want these oils in my life. And so next thing you know, you're enrolling Tommy. So Tommy comes down and Tommy's there. And so he starts to have such great experiences that he comes back to me and he says, you know, Rod, he goes, these oils have been fantastic, and I have a mother-in-law that's having trouble with headaches. Do you suppose we could help her? And then I asked Tommy, I said, Tommy, are you open to share with others? It's fantastic. Just walk through the 3 doors of openness. Every person you meet has 3 doors. They go in order. I don't have to go to my cold market. I don't have to go to a warm market. Could you imagine standing in a fair, like a fair booth, and everyone that walks by, hey, are you open to making money from essential oils? Could you imagine doing that and actually getting anyone? I could see people like scurrying away from your booth. It'd be funny. But what if I was standing there and everyone that walked by, I had wild orange oil in my hand, and I said, hey, stop for a minute. Would you smell this? Hey, that smells wonderful. Yes, these are essential oils. Would you be open to learn about them? Now, could you see your booth now in your contacts and your network being so excited and excited about this natural option to healthcare? Can you see that? And what this is this is the 3 doors of openness. You walk them through in order, and you will not offend everyone. You will have friends. You'll be respected. People will love what you do, and you will benefit the lives of many. All right, how do we contact our list? It's really simple. I master this phrase. I master this question. I practice it in every conceivable scenario. And what is it? Are you open to learning about natural forms of healthcare? You just think of every conceivable scenario. So I called somebody on the phone. Hey, John, I was just thinking about you. And I thought to myself, you know what? I know that you have seen those natural health magazines in your house, and I'm just wondering, are you open to learning about natural forms of healthcare? Or you could be like me. I was sitting in a restaurant in La Grande, Oregon. I was sitting there, and the waitress came up, and I asked her some questions about the menu, and she said, I don't know. I've never tried any of those dishes because I don't eat meat. And I thought that was really fascinating. I made note to self, okay, waitress does not like meat. That would indicate that she's into health and probably natural health. And so as we were exiting the restaurant, we walked up to the cash register, and I simply said to her, hey, I noticed that you said that you were not, that you don't eat meat. I was wondering if that means that you're open to natural forms of healthcare. And she said, absolutely, I am. And so I responded by simply saying, that's fantastic. Would you? I teach people how to use essential oils as a natural forms of healthcare. Would you like to receive a sample from me? And she said, absolutely, I would. And she wrote down our website address. And so this is the one thing you need to master. You master this sentence, perfect this question. And if you do, you have the ability to be successful in doTERRA. Master this question. Everything will come back to this question. I don't have anybody to teach. All I do is ask you, how many people have you asked are open to natural forms of healthcare? And you'll tell me, I talked to one person last month, and I'll say, well, you got to talk to 10. You talk to 10, and 4 will want samples from you. Of the 4 that want samples from you, 3 will want to learn more. And of the 3 that want to learn more, 1 will enroll. Everything hinges from this sentence. You only have to master this sentence to start creating success. Are you open to natural forms of healthcare? I would practice asking it to your teddy bears. Set up your stuffed animals. Ask your family members. Ask your children. Ask your dog. Ask your neighbor. Ask whoever. Just start asking the question, and you'll be amazed at what happens. Now, the thing that you need to know is what's next. So what if somebody says yes? So I'm going along, hey, you open to natural forms of healthcare? Yes. Okay. So if yes, invite them to receive a sample. Now, if you have a class coming up, you can say, I have a class coming up. I have found, though, that if you get samples out to people even before the class, that your enrollment rates can go up. And so just It's very, very simple way to transition and create multiple points of contact with somebody. Just offer them the sample. If yes, hey, would you like to try some? Here's your script. John, are you open to natural forms of healthcare? Yes, I am. That's great. Me and my family have been using essential oils, and we've been able to replace most of the things in our medicine cabinet. Would you like to try some samples? Who wouldn't say yes to that? Now, I found that if people are open, you'll almost always get a yes. That's so cool, because once you get people in the yes channel, you're on your way to enrollments. Then you follow up. Jane, I'm calling back to see how you like the oils. You don't have to say a lot. You don't have to worry about what you're going to say. You ask questions. You notice that my whole conversation here is just a few phrases that I've memorized. Are you open to natural forms of healthcare? Yes, I am. Would you like a sample? Yes, I would. I'm calling you back. How did you like it? How did it work for you? Now, once you get to that point, then you're just listening. How did they respond? What were their concerns? What did they like? What are the problems you can solve? It's all listening after this. How are the oils? I love them. It's fantastic. Do you have an interest in learning more about them? Yes, I would. There's an introduction class to oils on Tuesday. Can you make it? Get your people to a presentation. Everything in the marketing strategy is designed to lead to a presentation, because the presentations are where the enrollments happen. If you want enrollments, you need to be presenting. You need to be telling people what oils do. Follow up. I can't make the class. I can't make the Tuesday class. No problem. What times do you have available? And I'll bring the notes by and share them with you. You can say no to this. This is somebody that already agreed to come to the class, already said, I want to learn more. No problem. You can't make it? No worries. When are you available? I'll bring the notes. And what is the notes? The notes is nothing more than a one-on-one presentation. I take my presentation pad. That's the notes to the class. I walk to the class. I go to their house. I pull out my presentation pad. I say, here's the notes. Let's go through them. We're presenting. Awesome. The purpose of a presentation. Presentation has two main purposes: to get oils on the body and find out their needs. Anytime you get in a presentation, make sure your oils are coming out. Have people smell them. Have people put them on. Have people lick peppermint. Have people breathe the breathe oil. Have people watch the balance go up their veins. It's really cool. Get the oils on the body. That's how the experience happens. And then from there, the other most important thing is, as soon as you're talking about their needs, you can understand that an enrollment is on the way. If you're talking, the enrollment is probably not on the way. If your customer or the person hearing the presentation is asking you how your product can solve their problems, how your company can solve their problems, how you can solve their problems, as soon as they're asking you, then an enrollment is on the way. That's how you tell. That's why you find out their needs. You let them talk. You ask them questions. They ask you questions. You solve their problems. You make their life better. That's how you get enrollments. Asking for the sale. Now, this is the part where everyone gets all stumped up, has a problem. Here's a couple of questions that you can master. Which of these kits interest you the most? Now, there's an enrollment pad. There's an enrollment pad, a picture with all the kits on it. You can print them out from your back office. My oil business has tear pads called the Enrollment Tear Pad. You can get those. They have pictures of all the kits on it, and they have enrollment forms. And so when I'm at the end, how do I ask for the business? How do I get the close? This is the part where people get all funked out, is asking for the close, asking for the business. Now, I want you to understand something statistically. Statistically, 80% of people that come to a presentation have already decided to buy from you. Now, this is an alarming statistic, because sometimes, many times we go to our classes and we don't have anyone buying product. We don't have anyone getting accounts. What went wrong? Many times it's just because we did not directly ask for the business. So John, after our presentation here, you're looking at these kits. Which of these kits interest you the most? That's a soft closing question. It's a question that asks people to start to make a decision. Which of these kits interest you the most? Now this next question is fantastic. If you didn't master any other question for your close, it would be this one. Would you like to set up a wholesale account tonight? Now, I went to a trade show one time, and I was selling these skill assessments, and people were coming up, and I would tell them all about it, and they'd kind of stand there with a deer in the headlights kind of look, and just kind of stand there. They didn't know where to go. It was too much information. They couldn't process it, and I found out, finally dialed in a single phrase to ask people to get them to buy. And all it was this. So do you want to do it? And as soon as I do that, so pretty soon everyone that came up to the booth, I'd tell them about it. I'd give them my little presentation. Hey, this will help you determine your skills. Cost $10. And then they get that deer in the headlight look, and then I look at them and I just say, so you want to do it? And as soon as I got direct in asking, what happened is that people would look and then they go, well, yeah, I guess I do want to do it. So you're doing the same thing. Everyone that comes into your class, everyone that's at your presentation that you've invited, you want to teach your team members to do the same thing. When they invite somebody, it's to ask this question. Would you like to set up a wholesale account tonight? John, after what you've heard, would you like to set up a wholesale account tonight? Now what that does is that forces him to make a decision. And the answer may be, I need to think about it, which is perfect. That's perfect, because then you can say, great, John, that's fantastic. When would you like me to follow up and see which kit interests you the most? John's going to buy. He's going to buy because you asked him to make a decision. 80% of the time, he was already interested in purchasing before he showed up. 80%. It's cool stuff. Now, I've found statistically that about 1 in 3 people that hear the presentation will enroll. It's okay. That's a number. That's a ratio. And once you know the number, you can make the model work. You can make the model work once you know your ratio. You have to talk to 10 to find 1. Well, if you do, then that's great. Now, this is the other thing to remember about a close. When you're in a closing scenario, it's very important that you're focused, that you ask questions, and that you listen. I've been in meeting after meeting where people will be in a presentation, and then when they're asking people to make a decision, they'll get unfocused, and they'll allow the room to break up. Oh, by the way, there's cookies in the living room. No, that's not when we ask that question. Oh, is that a picture of your daughter on the wall? No, that's not what you ask. You do not ask that. You ask them questions. Do you want to set up a wholesale account tonight? I stay focused. I listen to what the reply is. Well, you know, I'm not sure. Well, what are you looking for? What are you looking to solve? Well, you know, I've had these headaches at night and I don't sleep very well. Well, that's great. Well, let's talk about that. Here's some oils that work with it, and here's a kit that contains those oils. Would you like to set up a wholesale account tonight and get that kit on its way? Good stuff. But how do we get there? By staying focused. When it's closing time, it's closing time. It's not go to the kitchen and recreate time. Closing time is closing time. That's the time dedicated where no other conversation comes into the picture. That is the time when we've asked the prospect to make a decision. If you do that, then you'll increase your results. Now, after you give a presentation, there's some follow-through. So, for example, there might be some people that didn't show up that said they would. I don't know if anyone's ever had that happen before. But sometimes I go to a class and the people that were invited don't show up. Invited 20 people, but 2 showed up. Well, what about those other 20? They said they would come. They said they would. They didn't show up. Well, that's okay. That's okay, because what we do is we call them back because they expressed interest. They didn't show up, and I ask them, hey, the class night was great. I noticed you didn't make it. Yeah, my daughter had a stubbed toenail. I couldn't leave the house. Fish broke the eyelash. Whatever it was, they'll have an excuse. And then you just come back and you say, you know, I have the notes from the class last night. When can I come by and share them with you? Now, sometimes they'll say, hey, yeah, I couldn't make it. Last minute thing came up. Now, if you have another class date set, then you can simply say, well, that's great. On Tuesday, we have another one. Can you make it to that one? And third, you can always invite people to host a class for you. Now, a class is a series of presentations. A class is the presentation. A presentation is one or more people, qualified people, hearing the information on the presentation pad. That's what a presentation is. Now, you can deliver that in multiple ways. You don't always have to be right in front of them in person. I do some of those online over the computer for people that are across the country, things like that. But either way, a presentation is someone hearing the contents of the presentation pad, a qualified person, somebody who that's over 18 years of age that doesn't already have a doTERRA account. That is a presentation. And if you define it that way, present 3 times, you get an enrollment. 6 steps after the enrollment. Now your person's enrolled, what do we do? First thing we do is we set an appointment to demonstrate the back office. Now, a lot of times I'll set that up around the time that they're receiving their product order. So if I've enrolled them on Tuesday, their order shows up by Thursday, then I'm scheduling that back office demonstration around that time to allow their mind to process and be excited about their order that's just come. And now I talk to them about the back office, show them how to use it. I explain LRP thoroughly, and then I help them make sure that their LRP orders are set up. The next thing I do is I make sure I get my enrollments connected to the team. Now, we've established the doTERRA Edge Facebook community, the Facebook group. And so when you enroll somebody, get them connected to our community. They'll be on the e-list. They'll start receiving the e-news. They'll be invited to team calls. Invite them to attend those team calls so they can learn how every Monday at noon, invite them to that call so they can learn how to use the product, so they can learn and feel the experiences of others who are being successful, and they can learn tips that will help them to learn and grow. Get them connected to the community. Then they won't be out on their own. They won't feel unconnected. They won't feel they can develop a relationship across our entire team and get their questions answered, find out better ways to use product. It's fantastic. The next thing is that for those that are interested in sharing the product with others, you want to teach them the compensation plan. Now, we do have a video on the front of doTERRAEdge.com. There's a webinar that's detailed. It's a detailed webinar about the compensation plan and how to advance ranks in doTERRA. You can go through that with them, or you can set an appointment with them, go over with your compensation plan sheets, and teach them the compensation plan. Now, if you do not know the compensation plan yourself, if you do not understand it, get with your sponsor, get with your upline, and tell them immediately. Don't wait. Say, I don't understand how the compensation plan works. I need you to teach it to me. Now, you want to say that because the compensation plan helps you understand how you are going to make money. It answers many questions for you, like where do I place somebody? How do I build? How do I earn the commission checks? When you understand the rules of the game, then you can earn the money. And so learning the compensation plan can be very motivating for people too, when they see and understand what it is that they need to build. Fourth, you want to introduce them to the Fast Track Planner. You want to get a fast track planner, you want to set a meeting with them, sit down with them, and help them set goals. Get their goals on the paper. Help them write down the people they know. Help them start to understand their pathway to succeeding. You want to make sure you schedule a class. Schedule a class with them so that they start inviting people. Just say, hey, why don't you set up a class, host a class in your house, invite the people you know, and I'll come and teach it. Now that gets the ball rolling. That starts activity for them. And activity creates results, right? And their business starts to move forward. They start to experience enrolling in IPC. They start to experience receiving a check from the company. They start to hear about the power of the products from others. It helps them have a successful journey and understand that the road really does lead to success as long as you stay on it. Then you want to make sure that you keep in communication with your new enrollments. Don't just enroll somebody and disappear off the face of the planet. Touch base with them. Contact them. Talk to them every couple of days. Shoot them an email. How are things going? What's up? Are you connected? Are you lost? That way, if you're touching base regularly, then you can find out if there are any problems as they might run into that valley of discouragement, right? Now, for you, those of you that are building teams, you need to fundamentally understand that you're not looking for leaders. You're looking for people with belief and commitment. And when you find people of belief and commitment, then you develop your leaders. Your leaders are developed because they start to experience results. They start to learn the 3 skills of finding and teaching and enrolling, and they start to teach that to other people. And next thing you know, they find out they're leaders. So your leaders are developed, not found. Now, another common misnomer is the idea that you have to kill yourself. You don't have to kill yourself. If you have 15 to 20 hours per week, this would be part-time, right? I have hours dedicated daily to working a little bit. Then you would be on a 3 to 5 year growth plan. These are the things you want to do. Use your product yourself. When you're using the product, try everything out. If you're not on Lifelong Vitality, get on the vitamins. Get on the supplements. See how they make you feel. Because if they make you feel good, then it's easy to tell someone else about it. Try a new oil. Get another oil. Get that oil. Try it out. See how it works for you. Because if it works for you, it's easy to tell someone else about it. If you haven't tried the skincare, get the skincare. Try it out. Put it on your face. See how it works. Does it make the wrinkles go away? Because if it does, it's easy to tell someone else about it. Now this is critical. If you do this one thing, you will be busier than you know what to do. Ask 2 people per day if they are open to learning about natural forms of healthcare. Just when you get up in the morning, just say, hey, who are the 2 people I can ask if they're open to natural forms of healthcare today? Put it on a list. Put it by your computer. Put it on a sticky note. Stick it on your forehead. Stick it in your car. Stick it on your door. Who do I ask? Who do I know? Who do they know that is open to natural forms of healthcare? Ask it twice a day, and it won't be 30 or 40 days before you have more than you know what to do with. Get samples to the yeses. Now these, by the way, these are the things that you do during your 15 to 20 hours per week that you're dedicating. You're asking people, you're finding, right? You're asking people, are they open to learn? Yes, I am. I'm getting samples to those people. What am I doing during those 15 to 20 hours? I'm driving samples out. I'm mailing samples to the yeses. What else am I doing during that 15 to 20 hours? I'm calling those people that I sent samples to, and I'm inviting them to learn more. What else am I doing? I'm giving the presentation. I'm doing classes. I'm teaching people. I'm doing one-on-ones. Those that were interested in learning more, I'm inviting to classes. You open to natural forms of healthcare? Yes, I am. Well, I have a class this Wednesday. Would you like to come and learn more about them? Yes, I would. I'm delivering the presentation. If I'm doing that 2 times a week, 15 to 20 hours a week. What am I doing? I'm giving the presentation. If I'm doing that, activity is happening, results are occurring. Teach your team the compensation plan, LRP, set goals. I'm setting times with the people on my team that have a desire to create an income. The people that desire to do the business, spend time with those people. Not all your time. Most of your time should be dedicated to finding new people. Most of your time. About 80% of your time should be dedicated to asking the question, are you open to natural forms of healthcare, delivering samples, and delivering the presentation to new people. That should be 80% of your time. 20% of your time should be teaching your team the compensation plan, how to set goals, LRP, until you're at about the $10,000 a month level. When you're about the $10,000 a month level, then you'll have a big enough team that you'll be doing a lot of mentoring. However, even in Jennifer and I's position, we still devote a lot of time to personal contacts so that we're always controlling our personal enrollments. That's something we don't let go of. I am still asking the question, are you open to learn about natural forms of healthcare? I have meetings almost every day with new prospects to give the presentation. It's fantastic. I'm delivering samples. I have a whole box. I have a whole shelf full of trio samples that I deliver to people, send out, mail out, hand out. I'm getting samples in people's hands. The other thing is to call your team members. When you have a team, make sure you're calling, especially your leaders, that you're calling them, that you have a set formal appointment with them once a week, and that you're touching base several times during the week randomly through telephone, email, instant messaging, texting, whatever. Keep in communication with your team. All right, here's the numbers of network marketing. And your success is inevitable. If you're asking 2 people a day, 1 will say yes. By the end of the week, you will have talked to 8 people. 4 of them will have accepted samples. In other words, it expressed interest, right? We're following the numbers. 3 of the people with samples will express an interest in learning more and attend a presentation. 1 in 3 people that hear the presentation will enroll. By the time you've enrolled and mentored about 30 people, 1 to 4 builders will emerge. Now this is really important because many people get discouraged too early. They don't realize that you're really working towards 30 personal enrollments. That's why I say 2 years, right? If I enroll 1 person a month, within 2 years I will personally enroll 24 people. 1 to 4 of those people will emerge as a leader, and then their 1 to 4 starts to show up, and then their 1 to 4 starts to show up. It isn't very long before you have a lot of people. You'll have a large team and a meaningful income. Now, just to let you know, Jen and I are diamonds, and we have personally enrolled about 30 people. Our team is now 2,000 people. We enrolled 30. The builders showed up out of the ratios. The builders showed up, and now we have a large team. And what we're doing is we're managing the emergence of 30 enrollments, right? Now, we don't have to enroll 30 people on every single line. We help a series of people enroll 30 people on every line. And when that happens, then the builder shows up. And when the builder shows up, then the volume increases. And when the volume increases, then your rank goes up. And when your rank goes up, your bonuses go up. And next thing you know, you have a really large team and you're meeting your goals and dreams. What's the fruit of your labor? Now, you're really going to like this. This is doTERRA's published disclosure on income earnings by rank. So a lot of people will say, I need to make such and such. I need to make $3,000 a month to quit my job. Well, if I'm looking at this chart now, I can see where that is, right? Premiers, you know, if you're Premier, you're for sure getting your product paid for, and there are Premiers making some pretty darn good money. Silvers, you see the averages there. Average diamond makes $18,000 a month. There's one diamond in the company that makes $43,000 a month as a diamond. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. Now, the cool thing about this company is you could enter today, you could enter next week, you could enter 20 years from now, and you would still have the ability to become the company's top income earner. I think that is cool. That means that your time to start, you're not competing for a pyramid in doTERRA. You're climbing your own ladder. And you have just as much opportunity to be at the top of that ladder as anyone else. Just because there's a bunch of people at the top of their ladder doesn't mean that you don't have that opportunity, that no one else can be there. I could have a taller ladder than anyone in the company. And you have that opportunity as well, no matter where you are placed. I just think that's phenomenal. And that's because this model looks great. Now, here's why this is so cool. I hope you're imprinting this income schedule on your mind, because I'm going to show you a comparison. This is the income disclosure of 2010 for one of the industry's top companies. Now, these ranks are pretty much the same across the board. However, you'll notice that their top rank, Blue Diamond Executive, that the average earnings is $47,000 a month. And if you remember from our average earnings, 2011 doTERRA income disclosure, average presidential diamond top rank earning $81,000 a month. Our compensation plan pays out nearly twice what this compensation plan does. This is a top-tier company, billion-dollar network marketing company, been around for over 20 years. Now, what's really fascinating is you'll look on the right and you'll see average percentage of active distributors. Now, doTERRA Edge, our team, 2,000 people, our active purchasers, active database, active distributors in our organization is running over 70%. Now, if you look here on their top rank, their top retention level is 6%. Active distributors earning a check, the average company-wide, 6%. doTERRA's average retention rate is 10 times higher. So I'm just going to conclude tonight by saying you are in the right company. I had the opportunity to select from virtually any network marketing company on the planet. I've been inside of most major companies' training centers, large distributors, baseline, beginning people, the whole ball of wax. And I saw the person personally. I was able to see the opportunity in doTERRA, and I've been able to dedicate my energies to it. And Jennifer and I achieved the rank of diamond in 16 months. All right, so I hope you enjoy